The first time I set foot inside the throne hall of the Zarathi Empire, I felt like I had stumbled into a cathedral built for gods. The ceiling arched so high it was lost in shadows, its surface glowing faintly with phosphorescent veins that resembled a map of constellations. The walls were lined with banners, each embroidered with a sigil of the Zarathi, an insectoid species whose empire spanned half the Orion arm. Their soldiers flanked the hall in rows, armored like obsidian statues, holding pikes tipped with plasma edges. And at the far end, seated upon a throne carved from the fossilized bones of a leviathan, was Queen Cyrexis. Her body shimmered in iridescent hues as her carapace caught the light, her crown a living cluster of symbiotic jewels that pulsed with her heartbeat. Her compound eyes shifted, focusing directly on me as if stripping me down to my DNA. I was the only human there. A diplomat. An oddity. James Valen of Earth, the herald announced, his voice echoing. You stand before the Empress of the Zarathi swarm, protector of the starlit domain. I bowed, though not as deeply as others did. Zarathi bowed by pressing their heads to the floor. My kind weren't built for such displays, and Cyrexis knew it. She had specifically asked that I stand proud. Rumors whispered through the court, the human who had survived Cyrexis's labyrinth of trials, the foreigner who had negotiated peace where fleets had failed. They called me reckless. They called me brave. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was the truth of my bond with Cyrexis. We had once been stranded together. Years ago, during a failed peace summit, our shuttle crashed on an uncharted moon. For weeks, we survived side by side. Predator and prey turned reluctant allies. She had seen me fight hunger, disease, and the crushing loneliness of isolation, not with venom or claws, but with stubbornness, laughter, and ingenuity. In those days, titles had meant nothing. She was Cyrexis, I was James, and in the cold nights beneath alien stars, we had found a strange understanding. More than that, bond. Now, standing in her court, the weight of that history pressed heavily between us. Her mandibles clicked, signaling silence. Rise, James Valen, she commanded, her voice resonating with both power and familiarity. The audience obeyed, heads lifting. I took a breath, ready to speak about treaties, trade routes, and cultural exchanges. That was why I had been summoned, after all. But then something unexpected happened. A small figure darted from behind the throne. The child couldn't have been older than 7 in human years. His form was half like hers, half not. He lacked the full armor plating of a Zarathi. His skin softer, smoother, with hues shifting between pale bronze and faint human tan. His eyes, compound yet strangely expressive, locked onto mine. He ran forward, unafraid of the court's gasp, and clutched my leg. "Father!" he chirped in accented Galactic common. His voice was high, clear, and utterly innocent. The hall froze. The soldiers stiffened. Nobles hissed in outrage. Even the air seemed to vanish from the chamber. And me. My heart stopped. The middle, whispers of scandal. The boy's declaration rippled through the court like a detonation. "Impossible," one noble spat, his antennae trembling with fury. "A hybrid child. With a human." Others muttered, their voices overlapping. Accusations, denials, shock. "Silence," Cyrexis said, her tone like the strike of a blade. The court obeyed, though tension lingered like a storm cloud. The child clung to me still, eyes wide with hope. He wasn't afraid of their stares, nor of the danger his words placed me in. He only wanted me to acknowledge him. And I did. I knelt, meeting his gaze. "What's your name?" I asked softly. "Kalen," he said, mandibles clicking faintly. Mother said you would come back. Mother. The word hung in the air, heavier than any decree. Cyrexis rose from her throne. The jewels in her crown flared like tiny stars, her presence filling every corner of the hall. She descended the steps, each movement controlled, deliberate. The soldiers shifted uneasily but dared not interfere. When she reached us, she looked not at her court but at me. I told him stories, she said quietly, though her voice carried across the chamber. Of the human who braved the storms with me. Of the one who did not cower when I revealed my true form. Of the one who made me laugh. Her mandibles twitched in what I recognized as her equivalent of a smile. He calls you father because he knows no other word. The hall erupted again. Outrage. Dismay. Fear. A disgrace, one elder shouted. This abomination cannot be heir, cried another. Exile the human. Slay the hybrid. Kaelin whimpered, pressing closer to me. Instinctively, I wrapped an arm around him, shielding him from their venomous words. And then, for the first time since I had known her, Cyrexis roared. The sound was primal, shaking the hall itself. The banners trembled, the jeweled crown pulsed violently, and every noble dropped to their knees. You dare speak against my blood, she thundered. Against my choice. Silence returned, absolute and suffocating. Her compound eyes shifted back to me. James Valen, she said, you stand accused not by law but by prejudice. Tell them who you are. Tell them why this child bears the right to exist. All eyes fell upon me. I wasn't just a diplomat anymore. I was standing trial before an empire, with a child's life hanging in the balance. Choice. I rose slowly, Kaelin still at my side. My voice trembled at first, but grew steadier with each word. You call me human, I said. You call me outsider, fragile, soft. And yet, your queen knows what I am capable of. She saw it when we fought the cold, when we hunted with nothing but sticks, when we faced beasts twice our size. She saw it when I refused to surrender to despair. And she chose to honor that. Murmurs spread, but no one dared interrupt. Kaelin is not an abomination, I continued, my voice louder. He is the proof that two worlds once at war can create something new, something stronger. You look at him and see weakness. I see the future, a bridge between species, an heir who understands both the heart of a human and the strength of the Zarathi. I turned, meeting the child's gaze again. If that makes me his father, then so be it. Gasps filled the hall. Not just shock but recognition. My words struck something deeper than politics. Cyrexis stepped beside me, her towering frame casting half the hall in shadow. You have heard it from his own lips, she declared. This human is not my consort nor my subject. He is my equal, the father of my child. Those who challenge him, challenge me. The nobles hesitated. Some lowered their gazes in reluctant acceptance. Others trembled in rage. I knew then that not all would yield easily. But in that moment, the court had no power to deny her. Kaelin smiled, a child's simple joy untainted by the storm he had unleashed. The ending, a new dawn. The days that followed were a blur of chaos and diplomacy. Half the court plotted against me, whispering of exile or assassination. The other half began to wonder, could this strange union truly be the key to lasting peace? Cyrexis was unyielding. She paraded Kaelin openly, declaring him her heir. She invited me into councils, seating me beside her as though daring the nobles to object. At night, away from the eyes of the empire, we spoke like we once had on that lonely moon.